Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. I'd like to welcome you, dear viewers, to another in our series in the light of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And Allah's peace and blessings be on each and every one of you. Dear viewers, in our program, we answer your questions. The questions that you send in by mail, by the phone, messages sent, email, faxes, however you send it, we'll try to answer it for you. You may contact us at the station, Charger Television, with numbers, PO Box 111, Charger TV, or you may fax in 06-532-3724, or you may email me at xld3@hotmail.com. The first question we're going to be looking at is the question concerning the Quran. As it has been observed that amongst Christians, for example, the Bibles may differ between the Protestants and the Catholics. Catholics have 7 books in their Bible which are not found in the Bible of the Protestants. So there's a difference in their book of Revelation. Now, in the case of the Quran, it's the same, because some people say, you Muslims have sex just like us. Well, in fact, the vast majority of Muslims are one solid body. Those who belong to the sects are very, very few, 10%. We don't have a split down the middle. In any case, our questioner asks, dear Dr. Bilal, is the Quran of ours and the Quran of the Shias, Ismailis, and other sects one Quran? Or are there slight differences? Well, the fact of the matter is that there's just one Quran. There's nobody claiming they have another Quran, no matter what sect they belong to. Even the sects which have left Islam altogether, like the Qadianis, Ahmadis. They may have some other books they have along with it, Revelation, that they claim, the Mirza Bilal Ahmed, which is supposed to receive some Revelation, so he has some writings which they claim to be Revelation. But the Quran which the people use is the same Quran. It's one and the same wherever you go in the world. Only one Quran. Second question. Question concerning wudu. Could you please explain exactly how you wash or wipe your ears in wudu, and how many times? Sorry if this is a silly question. Could you also confirm that the ghusl is valid without first making wudu? Okay, the first part of the question, how do you wash or wipe your ears in wudu? Well, you take your index finger and your thumb. Index finger goes in and wipes on the inner part of the ear, and the thumb goes behind the ear, backwards and forwards. Now, this is a wet hand. You do this with both hands at the same time, wiping in and out. Okay? And of course, this is done while wiping the head. This is the sunnah, was that you wet your hands, right? And you wipe your head from the front to the back, and back to the front, or the opposite, or just from the front to the back. And when you finish, you wipe your ears. And you may wet your hands again and put water in your beard. Now, I should add here that the practice of wiping the neck is not from the Sunnah. And some people there may put some logic in when you wet your hands, so you're using this part to wipe your head, and you use your fingers to wipe your head. What about the back of your hands? You want to make use of this water, okay, so we wipe our necks. But actually, it's not from the Sunnah at all. This is not the practice of the Prophet. It's not a part of wudu. It would be considered to be innovation. So therefore, we don't do it. I mean, of course, if your neck is dirty, when you finish making wudu, you find that your neck, because you're working construction, whatever, you got some dirt on your neck, you want to clean it off. So you take wet hands and wipe off your neck, no harm. But to make it a part of wudu, as a rite of wudu, this is wrong, it's incorrect. How many times? Well, it is mentioned normally as one, as the most narrations identify the Prophet as doing this only once. However, there are some narrations, a few, which do indicate that he also did it 3 times. So it is possible to do it once or 3 times. As regards ghusl without wudu, it is possible to make ghusl without wudu. Prophet Muhammad most often used to make wudu first and then his ghusl, especially when he's dealing with wudu ghusl, which is from janaba or sexual defilement. Person has had sexual relations. To put themselves back in that state of purification for prayer purposes, etc., then one has to take a complete bath. And that is preceded by washing the private parts and then making wudu. And then, of course, pouring water over the whole body, which is the ghusl. Another question which has come in at the end of one of my lectures, a young lady writes, are we allowed to wear contact lenses which are colored or transparent? Wearing colored contact lenses, I mean, technically speaking, this is permissible. Technically speaking, it's permissible. It is a form of beautification. I mean, a person will do it because they feel that it makes them look more attractive. Now, in the context of women, let's look at it. What does this mean? Does it mean that you're not happy with the colors of the eyes that Allah has given you? So that when you stand before the mirror, you're not able to say the dua, the supplications the Prophet taught for us. When we stand before a mirror, we say, Allahumma, O Allah, kama hassanta khalqi, as you have made my creation good, fahassin khuluqi, make also my character good. This is the dua. Recognizing that Allah has created us in the best way, and asking Him to also make our character good. So when a person looks at themselves in the mirror, and they go on to say, put colored contact lenses, you're in fact saying, really, you're not happy with the way Allah made you. So really, it's not something preferable. It's something disliked. I would say makruh to do this. Better to keep the eyes as they are. If, for example, you're an albino, or albino, a person who has no pigment, so the pupils of your eyes, or not the pupils, but the irises become pink, and you become very sensitive to sunlight. So wearing colored contact lenses helps to reduce the harm of the sunlight, the rays of sunlight, etc. Then, such a case is quite legitimate. You're doing it for medical need, medical necessity. Same thing with all the other issues of cosmetic surgery and things like this. If it is to correct something, or to prevent a harm or greater harm, then it's permissible. But to do it just because one wants to change, you like to have a pointy nose, or you feel your nose is too pointy, you want to have a more rounded nose, or it's whatever, people have all kinds of ideas that they want to modify themselves to look like this or to look like that. We would say Islamically, this is haram. Don't do it. Unless you have a medical necessity, case of medical necessity. Now we have another letter which has been written in, one which involves a certain amount of logic and reasoning, and may sound accurate, but we have to look at it in a little more detail. The question goes like this. Dear Dr. Bilal Phillips, Assalamu alaikum. This question is based on a question which you answered previously. Your answer to the question, if a person can